down the cheek sometimes. If he wants to jump out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
This is a private session I did the other night. This is Rompo. He's a 6-month-old German Shepherd. He has some issues. He has some real issues. This is him barking at the camera person. This is him barking at me. He is young, so I didn't think it was going to be as bad as it was. We actually didn't have the camera. Look at his mouth. Look at how quick these barks are. You're going to see a lot of crazy stuff in this session, okay? This guy will nip a person. Even at just 6 months old, he will bite somebody. He will definitely bite a dog. The good news is he's young, and as I say, the bad news is he's young. It's good news and bad news. We can get him out of this, hopefully. Problem is, 6-month-old dogs should not be acting like this. It's actually worse in person than it seems on the camera. One, you can't really hear the barking, and my mic shuts off in a little bit. But look at the mouth. Look at the lips curl back. This is serious barking. If your hand somehow gets in the way of that bark, you will get bit. Some dogs are like, I'm not going to bite, I'm just going to bark. This guy will bite. Okay? Look at the way his mouth moves. He's got that fast German Shepherd bark. So, barking at me, I'm trying the treat thing. The treat thing is the first place I always go, and it works a lot, oddly. Treats from the scary stimulus, as I say, will often help the dog. It doesn't help him at all. I try it multiple times. I don't give up on it until I know it's just not going to work. Look at this. This is pretty bold. Oh, well, it's just protection of the family. No, it's not. Oh, it's just fear. No, it's not. It's other things. It might be some protection. It might be some fear, but you're going to see as this video plays out, it's neither of those. It's a lot of things. It's probably some genetics. It's a lot of things, okay? So now I want to get him off leash, but I'm not ready to just have him off leash with me quite yet. But now I am. So I come in and you're going to see him off leash, bark, look at the family, bark, bark, bark. I'm still tossing treats. I'm not giving up on the treat thing, okay? If this works, it's a good way. If it doesn't work, that tells us something. There, see me throw the treat. He doesn't care. I mean, he might eat them, but he's not pairing them up with me, so therefore it just doesn't work. Now, I'm like, okay, like all my sessions, we don't want it to look like it's him and the family against me. So we have the young man come up. I'm like, hey, come up here, young man. Let him know that I'm an okay guy, okay? He's going to bark at me pretty good right here, I think. And then I have the young lady come up. I want him to know that the family accepts me. He really should know that at this point, but he doesn't. For whatever reason, he doesn't get it, okay? She's coming up like, hey, we like this guy. And then I'm going to have the family spread out, which is a big deal at some point. He's showing him the treat. Still trying the treat thing. If it works, great. Doesn't care. The timing of that treat was poor. I was throwing it as he was barking. I don't mind treating when a dog is barking, but it's not the best time to treat. All right, he eats the treat. Doesn't care. It's not going to work. I'm done with the treats probably at this point. But you go, oh, it's protection. No, it's not. It's just not. When you're there, look at this. Look at this. So now I tell the guy, it's enough. Tell the dog you're out of the circle of trust. You've heard me say it before in my other videos. You're out. You want to run up on some guy at his house, it's not even your house, and just bark for no reason? Okay, now I tell him, shake my hand. You've seen me do this before. I'm all about, now the dog, if he saw the handshake, he can no longer bark at me. The boss of the house said, I accept this guy into my life. You can't bark at this guy anymore. I have accepted him. It's a really, really, really big and really powerful move. Now, if it doesn't work, that tells us something. And it really doesn't work. He still is just like, I feel like going at this guy. Oh, well, is it fear? Is it protection? We're figuring out what it is. We don't know what it is. And I'm telling you guys, it was worse being there. The video's not capturing really this dog's intensity. It's just not. Sometimes video does that. Like, he's going to bark at me right here. Guy's like, go, you're out. He's away from the family now. That's usually a big deal to a dog. The family has accepted me. Now the dog needs to accept me. And it's a problem if he doesn't. We can almost rule out protection at this point. Now he's a German Shepherd. There's always a little bit of that, but it's kind of ruled out, to be honest with you. Unless the dog just, I mean, it's not protection. It's some perversion of protection. Okay, it's something he thinks is protection, which is not right. All right. So there's going to be, I think, a couple more barks right here. We're now down in the pasture. I'm standing there. Now I tell him it's enough rolling up to me and just barking and then us responding. Now, as soon as he comes up to me, it's okay to smell for a second. And then owner, dad, is going to say, get out, go, go. You're not standing in the middle of the circle and just barking at this guy. Okay, notice the tail. The tail doesn't mean that much, but it means something. Look at that bark. He's like, go, you're out, you're out. Okay, now we're over. He's not improving really like I usually see improvement. So we need to shake this guy's life up a bit. I'm a big fan of taking a dog like this and shaking them up. Shaking them up. This guy, we need to throw Hail Marys. This dog has so many problems that we are over sort of the normal, let's go slow, let's give treats, let's shake hands. These guys drove 3 hours for this, okay? The appointments are not cheap. They can't be coming here every week for the next 6 months to go slow. They can't do it. I'm over it though. I'm over it. For protection. He wants to not hit the end of the leash. He should stop lunging. There. Proof's in the pudding. They have never not seen this dog lunge constantly on walks. They go on walks. The dog just goes to the end of the leash, pulls and barks. They can't walk him. They cannot walk him. You saw that correction, which was a hard correction, or he just lunging. There. Look at that. He's lunging. He finally learned, oh my gosh, when I lunge, that's not good for me. And that's why, look at barking at me. He doesn't care. This guy's just like, I just feel like barking at this guy. I'm stimulated. Now, because he was walking well, I'm giving him a little grace. I'm being like, yeah, you can back up. You can do whatever. And I'm just like a little softer because he's doing much less. But again, we have to, I told him this so many times, we have to shake this guy up. We got to shake him up. He's never going to get fixed. He will never get fixed if we go slow. Don't let anybody tell you different. I say, I'm walking. He goes, I don't feel like walking. I go, I don't care what you feel like doing. We're over it. Him doing what he wants has got him to this point where he is almost untrainable by 6 months. That's a problem. Everything he did was so intense and it didn't really follow, like nothing really. I don't expect me treating a dog is going to fix a dog. I don't expect me shaking the guy's hands is going to fix the dog. But I expect to see it dissipate, some aspect of his behavior dissipate by 5%. Oh, okay, we're on to something. The treats made him bark at me less. Oh, the handshake made him bark at me less. It didn't change things one bit. That tells me something. If I see a 1% improvement, I'm like, okay, this dog's functioning normally. He's not really functioning normally. And when something's not functioning normally, you have to do things differently. You have to throw Hail Marys. You have to try different stuff. So, now we're in the pasture. He's with me. He's away from the family. It's another test. Let's see if he's better away from the family. Pulls, flips out. I'm like, you're not getting what you want. You're not getting what you want. We're over it. We're over it. What they have, I'm exhausted. You can see me kind of take a breath. It's emotionally, to some degree, physically, it's tiring. Now, whoever says that there's sort of, I don't do like that a lot, where the dog's like, I'm leaving, and I'm like, no, you're not. However, there is power in that. Now we take him off leash, and he goes at Prince. Prince is being, and you're going to see Prince become what I want Prince to be. This session, Prince became who Prince. I'm giving him love. Anytime your helper dog kind of is at all stressed, you need to tell them, good job. You're doing what I want you to do. So I get down, I give him kisses, I give him stuff. Now we spread the family out. This is a whole nother thing. We had not spread, I had taken him away from the family. I had done treats, I had done handshakes. I've done a lot to this point. Now we're going to do another thing. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on with this dog. Is it a mental disorder which I think it's partly that. Is it breeding? Is it genetics? Now he's going up to Prince. Little smell, right? He's not terrified of Prince. Oh my God, Joel, this dog's so scared. That, I'm telling Prince, good job. He just stood there perfectly. Prince didn't back away. Prince didn't go at him. Prince did it perfectly. I'm telling him, good job. Oh, Joel, this dog is so... There's no evidence that this dog is terrified. Just because he wants to get away from me doesn't mean he's terrified. Just because he goes at Prince doesn't mean he's terrified. He just showed us he wasn't terrified. He could just want to get back to his people, not terrified of me, just saying, no, I want to be by them, so I'm going to fight to get away from you, Joel, to get back to them. That's different than being terrified of me. So we've tried a lot of things. We've tried the treats. We've tried the family accepting me. We've tried the family accepting Prince. We have tried me taking him away from the family, which will sometimes have the dog go, okay, I better listen to this guy. None of it has really worked. And just desensitization. We're probably 40 minutes into the session at this point, maybe over that. And he has desensitized a little bit. Look, goes at Prince right there for no reason. Zero reason. He does not think I'm going to hurt the family, and he doesn't think Prince is going to hurt the family. And if he does, that's a serious problem, mental problem on his part. This is where Prince becomes what I want Prince to be. This was the first session I ever seen Prince do this, and he's over it. He's over this dog's behavior. I'm over this dog's behavior. Prince is saying, knock it off, knock this nonsense off, and he didn't back down right there. Prince also had some playfulness to it. He wasn't just like mean about it. There was a half play bow in there, but he's backing the guy down. We have to shake this guy up. I know I've said it multiple times on this video, but it's the truth. This is not for the meek or the faint of heart. This type of dog, you need to try stuff. You need to do different things. We can't follow the normal, okay, desensitize, give treats. We have to do different stuff. The goal of today was to get this guy highly stimulated and moving. Also, you can see the pent-up energy in him. Because they can't walk him, because they can't go to a park with him, they have limited ability to do anything with this guy. So I wanted him to run. We're in the pool area partly because I wanted him to swim. He didn't swim. All right, here's a time. Look at him and Prince together, being pretty good. Me talking to the young guy. And then I think Prince and him are gonna go at it here. Not go at it in a bad way, but in a good way. This dog cannot think that he can roll up to bigger, stronger dogs their place and do whatever he wants. Is it fear? Might be part fear. Doesn't matter. You can't run around in the world. You would be unwise to go up and poke the MMA fighter. It would not be smart. That's how life works. You are going to lose that battle. Now, Prince, to his credit, doesn't go fight this guy, but he also doesn't roll over. He is going to bark at this guy a little bit and let him know you can't do that. And that's the best thing for this dog. You saw my old dog Bosco do this all the time, and it fixed dogs. He barked at him. You can't see it because we're zoomed out, but he barked right there, and then Prince kind of remembered it, and now comes around and is like, don't bark at me. I'm going to bark at you. Look at these guys. Look at these guys. It's good for this guy to bark at somebody and then get barked back at. That's not the way the world works. You watching this cannot go up to the bigger, tougher person and pick a fight. You just can't do it. You're gonna get it handed to you. And Prince doesn't even whoop him. But he's not backing down. Look at these two. Look at these two together. And then at any moment's notice, he'll just decide to flip out on the dog. He's not terrified. That's the main point that some people say in this video. Oh, the poor dog. And it's just not the truth. This was a challenging session because it was hard to figure out what's going on. He's also in a fear period. He's starting a fear period. And that's something to be aware of. But it wasn't the driving force because, one, he's too young. The main bad fear period is 9 months. Coming up to me, right, he's showing improvement. He's desensitizing to things. Time is just important too. And that's being taken care of. He's around me. He's around Prince. He's investigating us. I'm not talking to him. I'm not looking at him. I'm not trying to touch him. So we're doing all the things. We're doing the positive stuff. We're doing the broad stroke stuff with the handshaking. We're doing the take him away from the family, see if that helps. Very little is actually helping. And that's why I was glad that Prince kind of goes at him a little bit, because he needs to be gone at a little bit, in the same way that kids can't go around and they can't punch other kids, or you're going to get punched back. And so I'm really glad that Prince did that. Still cruising. I'm talking to the guy. We're talking about what we're doing, which is like, it's kind of a Hail Mary. I even at some point like do my arm like a Hail Mary because I'm talking to him. We need drastic measures to some degree. Again, they live far away. They can't be coming out every week to fix this dog. And there's just not that many trainers that can do much with him. So we're going to get to another video now. Young guy petting Prince, and this is good for him. He needs to see the family petting a dog. I've said that before. Now, let's see what he does here. He's going to kind of go at Prince, I think. And then Prince is going to go at him. Well, he doesn't really go at Prince. Prince just doing whatever, and they get into a barking match right here. Now, notice the palm tree. I want to see him being backed down. Him being back down. Back down. Prince gives a little, then he goes back in. Ultimately, who is the one who kind of won this battle? Prince. And that's exactly what Prince needs to do. He needs to win these battles. He just does. It's good for the dog. It's good for the dog. He needs to know he can't go up and poke and bark at whoever he wants. People and dogs will come back at you. Everyone needs to know that in life. Kids need to know that. Now, I am giving Prince a lot of love. I talked about it before, where you have to have your helper dog. You have to let him know, good job. Prince was not over the top with anything in this video. He did exactly what he should do. He won those little battles by pushing the dog back a little bit and not giving. And there were moments when he gave. Early on, he was like running away when the dog was going at him. And that's probably the right thing to do too. For me, and for what I'm trying to do with dog training, is you can't just go at a dog because it barks at you. But after an hour, this session was like an hour and a half. After an hour, it's enough. Look at this. And then this is going to be the last one. Prince is doing lookaways. He's doing lookaways. But then I think he's just going to go at Prince. Let's see if there's, for any good reason, he goes at Prince. Any good reason. Let's see. He's walking around. Prince is just coming up all nice. And he comes in. And let's see. Let's see if there's a quote-unquote good reason for him to go at Prince. I kind of walk away. And I walk back. Barks at me. And I'm over it at this point. I'm walking into him to say, dude, we're not gonna stop walking because you bark. And then they go at it, and this is the end of the video. So hopefully you got something from that. That is the end of the video, and they kind of stopped after that. Crazy session. Hopefully you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel.